Hello, I'm Jim Ballestero, and I'm sitting with some very dear friends of mine. Robert over here, I've got my good buddy Vince, good buddy Mike, and my good buddy Josh. And we're here to talk to you about the bigger picture, bringing Successful Thinkers Meetup basically into the local communities. And we've got a lot of different approaches to why this makes a lot of sense, but I want to start with something really important. Think about this. A lot of the local grocery store chains around the country have implemented Starbucks right inside their grocery stores. And what's really crazy about that is why would you have a global franchise called Starbucks actually bring it right inside your grocery store? Well, these are all business people saying, hey, this makes more sense to have a global perspective, bring it in, because more people have heard of Starbucks than not. Does that make sense? Yeah. And so here, like in my community, I've got a Safeway just literally not even a mile from where I live, and here's a Starbucks. And in the morning, what's happening in the morning? People aren't shopping for groceries. No, they're going in, they're getting a little Starbucks coffee, and they're going to work, or whatever it is that they do in the morning, okay? But it brings more awareness and more business into that local grocery store. And then throughout the day, guess what people do while they're in there? They buy from Starbucks. So Starbucks benefits in the morning, and it benefits the grocery store and the awareness to that grocery store in the morning. Throughout the day, Starbucks is still making money because guess what? They've got that store inside the store. Does that make sense? And then on top of that, why did Walmart introduce McDonald's inside of all their chains around the country? Because you've got two branded stores. You know, you've got McDonald's and you've got Walmart, and they recognize by working together they can keep their customers inside that store longer. The more they're in there, the more business they do. Does this make sense? Yeah. And so what happens with Successful Thinkers Meetup, as we go global, we're able to bring business to you on a local community basis. And so what we're going to do is we're going to actually hit on this and why it's an advantage to you, regardless of whether you already have a local community group that's already been established, and even if you already are working with kind of an online type Facebook appeal, we want to show you why partnering up with us, not taking away your identity, but partnering up with us could be a bigger, more advantageous, more synergistic win for you.
Yeah, what's exciting, what's going on with Successful Thinkers Meetups is that we're able to take the old school thought and the new school, the online and the offline, where people have met up before or they met up online or they met up in groups, and marry the two together, because it wouldn't be nice to be able to meet the people you hear online, because there's so many millions and millions of people in your community that you may never come in contact with unless you have an online solution to meet them. And then in the meetup, you get the personal touch, which we're going to provide, and it's for free for the business owner to brand themselves, get motivation, get training, and connect with the rest of the community, and thus bring more business and make more money.
I think that we all understand now that the social networks are huge, and over the past few years they've just blasted themselves out onto the internet, and most business owners these days realize that they have to be on these social networks, positioning their business in front of their target market, getting more business, making more relationships. But the only thing that's lacking from this is the real relationships, the real personal touch of meeting people in your local community. So Successful Thinkers is taking those online business presences and bringing it offline so people can actually really meet each other, create that relationship, and create lifelong friendships, relationships with the people that they're really doing business with, instead of just sitting behind the computer and trying to do business that way. So it's a really good combination, and it's something that's not really being done right now, and I'm really excited to be a part of it, and I think it's going to help a lot of people in a lot of business situations.
Well, and there's a saying, what's old is new. And what we've discovered is that although the internet's new, what's old and is working is the belly-to-belly, the personal relationships. The reason that both Mike and Josh are here today is these guys have done a phenomenal job in their local communities in Charlotte, North Carolina. You guys have had meetings the size. Give me some numbers here, the group sizes that you guys have put together.
Well, we actually just did one last week where we had about 150 people show up, actually from North Carolina, Georgia, Atlanta, Virginia, Knoxville. We had people come from kind of all over the East Coast, those few states there, and it was basically people we've talked to via online, phone calls, but have never really, met face to face, and they wanted to come and socialize and network with us because they wanted to get that touch. They wanted to actually meet the people that they were talking to online and give it that feel. So, we've had some pretty big groups. We've had smaller groups, and we have fun at all of them. They all work out really great for the business owners and the guests that attend.
Now, Robert is absolutely the master at online social networks, search engine optimization, ranking websites to basically the top of the search engine. And one of the things that Robert's goal is he hovers over this whole program. Now, we've got staff that we've hired that their whole job is to do whatever they have to do to elevate us in the social networks, in ranking our site from an organic standpoint. And Robert is essential in making sure that everything is done properly. And we've got volunteers that are working with us and everything. But Robert, help everybody understand that, when you have one company or one site that you're focused on, elevating it in terms of ranking to be found first over all the other social networks that are just small little, and they're good little social networks, good little, not Facebook, but little Facebooks for their local community. But they're not going to be found on the internet because there's nobody behind that driving it to be found online. Am I right?
Yes, you're right. And one of the things about that, Jim, is that what we're doing is we're taking all the mistakes or the things that we see that's difficult that can be more powerful in the search engines, and we're taking it and putting it and implementing it into Successful Thinkers Meetup. So when you think about how to get your website in the top 10, some social media websites will do that, some won't. You might find only your title phrase that will show up. But with Successful Thinkers Meetup, we're implementing 3 powerhouses in one to make sure that all your keywords are going to show up within Successful Thinkers Meetup and in the search engines. So it's a very wise idea to jump in today and start putting in your profile.
We have a lot of things that if we were to reveal it now, it would take us too long. But there are a lot of things that will be advantageous for people to take ownership of their community, tie in other groups, and tie in, even if you don't have a group to tie in, create groups. And we'll talk about that later. But the bottom line is the bigger picture is what this particular conversation is about. And you have an opportunity to tie into something that's much bigger than any one of us could do on our own. And that's a fact. So we just hope that you'll investigate Successful Thinkers Meetup a little bit more and partner up with us. Either become a host or ambassador or just become a member and help drive this thing and make it bigger for you and give you a bigger pool to pull from to sell your business, service, product, or idea.